Hi Reddit recapped here. Today we are going to tell you a collection of stories titled What's a Red Flag That You Ignored in a Significant Other, only to realize it was a bigger deal later? Enjoy our community's stories. As always, stay safe and take care. Wife had chest pains. She told me she'd always had them due to a heart condition she was born with. Always said it was nothing to worry about. Looking back, I should have worried more. She passed away in the middle of the night while sleeping. Her heart had stopped. It's been almost 3 years. I miss her. Biggest red flag? When we were newlyweds, he came home one day and informed me he had joined the military. We had talked about it the way people talk about maybe going skydiving someday. That's a decision you should make together if you're married. It impacted my life quite a bit, and I spent over 8 years of a 12-year marriage on my own between tours, trips to train, a geo bachelor billet, and then all the fun times he got to have with his military friends while I stayed home because someone needed to watch the baby. I used to think it was generous and kind how he would sacrifice things to help others, until I realized that he always put everyone and everything before our relationship. For example, I'd had to drive myself to the emergency room because he had already made social plans, and it would be rude for us both to cancel. I always had to quit my jobs and hobbies because if I wanted to see him, it had to be around his jobs and his hobbies. And his hobbies were always very expensive for the short time they held his interest. He couldn't try something new unless he was fully kitted out. Snowboarding was probably the most expensive and shortest. I think what really made me realize how crazy this relationship had become was when I was over the moon that he walked slowly enough for me to keep up on crutches because he had planned for us to go hiking. I went hiking on crutches with a sprained knee because I didn't want to watch him sulk if we couldn't do what he wanted to do. I ended up making my injury much worse because the crutches were too difficult to use on the muddy parts of the trail, and when we were going back downhill. I realized how pathetic I sounded as I gushed to my friends, whom he barely knows because they aren't as cool as his military buddies. It was so sweet. He slowed down so I could keep up. I mean, I have 8 weeks of physical therapy now, but he got me ice when we got back and let me take a nap. Yeah. That's when I realized it was way past time to GTFO. I've cheated on everyone I've ever been with. But I won't cheat on you, you're different. Surprise. She cheated on me. He would go on these weird rants about how controlling and unreasonable my parents were for giving me a curfew, wanting to meet him, making sure I had food and money. You know, being parents 'cause I was 17 at the time and still in school. Guess who turned out to be completely controlling and unreasonable? Those little details and stories didn't always add up. Any single one could be easily dismissed or laughed off. But they kept coming and kept getting harder to ignore. Turned out she was a compulsive liar. I hope she's better now. I'm pretty sure the cause of this was being molested by her father, something I later surmised by adding up a bunch of clues and desperately needing to fabricate her own reality. Yeah. Once you've told all your friends that your parents are never home because they work hard, rather than that they are at home drunk, eventually you kind of sink or swim with the lies. The ones that swim never seem to want to come back to shore. This marks the end of the collection of stories titled What's a Red Flag That You Ignored in a Significant Other, only to realize it was a bigger deal later? I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe to see more videos like this. Turn on your notifications and leave a comment to help the channel grow.